Hi folks, today we are going to make some lotion because I am out. So let me bring you in closer and show you what we're using. So I have lavender, comfrey, dandelion leaf, marshmallow root, candle flower, eucalyptus leaf, and chamomile. You can use any of these. This is not set in stone what you need, so you can use any of those. For my water solution, I'm going to substitute some vegetable glycerin and some aloe vera. I'm going to add in some shea butter with my oil. And I've got a Millard emulsifying wax, which is amazing. Over here, I've got my vitamin E oil, which acts as a preservative for the oil. And then there's two different preservatives. You don't need both of them. I just wanted to show you choices. We're going to use a few drops of these to preserve the water so they don't go rancid. And then we have a lavender, not flavoring, but smells. And then my homemade pot oil that is just made with leaves that nobody uses. I have a brand new pack of jars, and I know some people sterilize these, but it's hard for me to sterilize. So to make things quicker, I'm going to use brand new pack that's not been opened. I have a cup and a half of oil over here, and I'm going to add my flowers and roots over here after I measure them out. Okay, so I'm just going to measure out a tablespoon of each. Now all of these have skin benefits, so but it doesn't matter what ones you choose, or if you choose all of them, they don't contradict each other. So I'm going to, the ones that are powdery, I'm going to put half a tablespoon in. And this is lavender. I'm doing it to overpower the other smell that's going on over there. Okay, so now I'm going to put all this in with the oil. So I'm going to put in all of those ingredients, and then we're going to give it a good stir and cover it. It's got to simmer for about 20 minutes. You can leave it on longer. Some people do an hour. It's up to you. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. And my water was boiling. I took it off for a second because I'm going to add a cup of aloe vera. Now the recipe calls for 2 cups of water, but I'm substituting a cup of water for a cup of aloe vera. So I'm going to let that come back up to temperature. And I'm going to strain this. We need a half a cup of this. And it's been simmering for 20 minutes. Okay, so time to strain the oil that we just made, and hopefully it didn't dissolve. And we get a half a cup, because that's what we need. And it's perfect. I put a little more in there to be sure it would stay at that mark. It's actually a little more. That's okay. Next thing we're going to do is combine everything, but we have to let it cool off just a little bit. So it's cooled off a little bit. We're going to put this back into the pan. And then I need a half a cup of emulsifying wax. This is going to be creamy, not real loose like it's lotion, but it's a basic lotion recipe, but it's going to be way more creamier. We're going to use a dry one. And there we go, about a half a cup. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the pan, and I'm going to bring it back to the heat. And we're going to heat it up till it melts. And then we'll be combining everything together. Now that my oil's been strained. And there we go. So let's go back to the heat. I've got my wax in there, and we're just waiting for it to melt. It's a real mild wax. This is for lotions and creams. It's definitely better to use this kind of wax than the beeswax. Beeswax will make it like a salve. It'll be super hard. So you can see it's already melting. Very nice. I've got my water and aloe vera over here heating up. And there's no shut-off valve on this sucker, so let's hope this melts. And we'll bring you back when we're combining everything. The other thing I forgot to add is a tablespoon of shea butter. And I'm also going to mix that in. And this is new for me. I've never added this, so we'll have to see what it does. But it's supposed to be thicker. So I found ways to thicken it up. I'm curious to see what this does for us. Alright, so I'm putting my oil base into a big bowl. And then I'm going to add my water and aloe vera. And you can already see it's turned into a milky substance. And I got my immersion blender. Let's hope it lasts, because it does take a while to make this into what we want. Honey oil. So this is going to probably take about 20 minutes, so I'll bring you back when it starts thickening up. I've been blending for a little bit, and it's still very soupy and watery. It's got a little bit of texture to it, but the bowl's super hot. So I'm going to let it cool off, and then I'll come back and do some more blending. Son of a Cracker Barrel. I forgot my tester. Putting it in now. It's been about 5 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and start blending again. Now it's still hot. So I'm going to blend for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to let it cool off again. We don't add the preservatives until it's just barely warm. So which is the vitamin E and the water preservative. So I'll keep blending and letting it cool off, bring you back at the end. We are making progress. You can see we've got a thicker consistency going on. And it still needs to cool off. But yeah, we're getting there. For sure. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to bottle it. But we're almost there. Right now it is a lotion. I want it thicker, so we're going to keep going. Okay, so it's 1 to the touch. so I'm going to put my preservative for my oil, which is vitamin E. My hands are all slippery. I got to try this lotion. It's nice. Good little recipe. So I'm going to put a half a drop in, since we only have half of a drop of, half a cup of oil. And for this, I'm going to put a capful in because I know it's a capful. For this recipe, if you get this brand, it's a capful. Now I'm going to put in my lavender essential oil. It calls for like 15 drops, something like that. I'm just going to put a whole darn dropper in and see how that works out for me. Then I'm going to mix. See how thick it is. Very nice. A little spoon. As much as I can off. Not too bad. But you can see how creamy it is. So I'm just going to give it a quick spin with my spoon to make sure everything on the sides got mixed in. And then I'm just going to put them in my jars. I'll bring you back when I'm almost done with that. Okay, so I'm going to pipe it in. I don't have a piping bag, so I'm using a gallon. And I'm just going to plop it in there until it gets up to the knuckle. And that's how we're going to do it. So I'll bring it back when I'm done. So we got 9.5 of these. This is my half. And the consistency reminds me of a thick Noxzema. Like butter, really. And it's really nice. And that lavender comes right through. I smell it. So, I wanted to discuss a couple things with you because it's so hard to understand what the hell people are doing in videos. But you don't need exactly everything I had. Yes, you need a half a cup of emulsifying wax. You can use a cup of oil or a cup of glycerin or half and half. You can mix your oils, so avocado, grapeseed, whatever you'd like in there. Coconut is wonderful for skin. And then you need 2 cups of boiling water. Or you can do 1 cup of aloe and 1 cup of water. And boil the water first, then measure it out, make sure you got a cup. And then add your aloe into it. And then just let it warm for a little bit. You don't want to overcook it. All right. So the oil base, all of those ingredients that I put in are optional. You don't need them all. They're all for skin issues. And I wanted to help many things. So I threw them all in there. Maybe you don't want them all in there. Maybe you're allergic to one. You don't have to put them all in there. But I found that 1 tablespoon of each, less it's powder than it's half, works well. Fragrance, you can use any fragrance you want. I chose the lavender. It calls for like 15 drops. I put a whole damn dropper in because last time it didn't really smell like lavender. This time it does. The preservative, you can use any of them. It doesn't really matter which preservative you use. I gave you 2 options that you could get. And therefore, water preservation, so the water doesn't get rancid. Now, the vitamin E is for the oil. Now, you will find other recipes that don't put that oil in, but after listening to a lady explain why she puts it in, I decided it was a good idea. So I do that. And let's see, anything else optional? No, I think that's it. So go ahead and, oh, the glycerin. Okay, I was a little wrong on that. You have to put 1.5 cups of oil. Why didn't I see that before? So you can leave the glycerin out. So, but you still need 1.5 cups for the recipe. Or you can do more glycerin or all glycerin. So, but scratch that first thing I said. And make sure there's 1.5 cups in there. And there you go. I think that's all that I covered. If you have any questions, just ask. I'll tell you the best of my ability. But it came out good. And I got a immersion blender by Fabre. You charge it and then it holds the charge. I charged it when I lived in Massachusetts and it was still charged. And I went through 1 bar making this. So, nice. Might want to pick one up. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Going Off Grid on TikTok and Going Off Grid, actually Sandy and Steve, on YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, that's it. I'm so muddled. Have a good day. I'm going to link the products in my YouTube Amazon shop. So if you can't find them, they'll be there.